welcome to Tassi's studio. I'm Tassi, and today is Tuesday, February 25th, and I'm coming to you from a different location today, and I wanted you to be able to see a little bit of the snow of where I'm at today. I will show some footage from the snow and how beautiful it is here in now right after the introduction, and then I will show some also in the end of the video. I hope that you enjoy this. Today I'm going to do a little bit different update of the month of February. I decided to start doing some footage of what I have done during the month, and instead of going through all the what I'm wearing, the work in progress, what I have finished, and acquisitions, I think I'm going to do a little bit of a vlog style where I talk to you about all those things, what I have finished, what excuse me, what I'm working on, and if I have any new acquisition, but showing you what I actually did throughout the month and when I did them. So I hope that you enjoyed that. It's a little bit different style, but I wanted to try and see how that's going to work for us. Hi friends, so today I am in a different location again, and I am also sitting on a different location than I usually do, because I wanted for you to see my window. It's a beautiful day here in Oregon, and I would like you to see how beautiful it is outside. Today is Thursday, February 27th, and it's almost the end of February, so we're going to be going through what I did and an update on my makings for the month of February. First, I would like to tell you a little bit about my journal and how I organize my knitings. I have always thrived by being organized. I've always had a calendar when I worked, and I have always had a knitting journal. I have gone through many of them, and I keep trying different ones every year. This year, I am trying the Maker's Notebook by Making Treasures, and I'll put the information in there for you. I also saw that Casey from Young Folk Knits, she has used one of these last year, and this year she bought this one again, so I had bought this one for myself. The way I am organizing it for me is every month I put in here what I have done or finished for that month. Then I made, in the very beginning, she has some monthly overview pages. So every month I put what I made and when I started different projects, and when I finished some of the projects and some of my objectives for the monthly overview. And then there's a place where you can put all the information, and I'm still going to put pictures and the yarn for a few of the projects, but I have been putting my labels and my yarn in this side, and information that I would like or that I want to write about that specific making, I put it on the other side. Then I'm going to try to put a picture either here or on the top on some of them. I have ordered papers. I have a mini printer, and I have other paper so I can put my pictures in here. I used to draw them, but now I really enjoy just putting the pictures, because I think it just turned out really cute. I'm not a very good drawer, so it works really well for me to have the printer. I am going to start today with my socks that I finished. I started the socks, I started the second sock. I made the first one last year, and I started my second sock on January 17th of this year, and I finished it on February 13th. So it took me almost a month to make one sock, but I make my plan is to every morning when I wake up, I have my coffee, and then I knit a little bit on my socks. I made this sock with Bobolero's yarn, and is the Bobolero's Grace fingering from my friend Margaret from Bobolero's, and the color that I chose is the Enchanted Peace. This is the Enchanted Peace color, and I honestly cannot remember. I did not use the she sent a mini with the yarn, but I really wanted this one to have some pink, and this I consider to be my February socks, my Valentine socks, so I wanted to have pink on here. And I did the color, I followed the color block ribbed socks pattern from the Summerlee's from her book, and I usually have a recipe that I like, and for now I'm trying to find the perfect socks. As if you have been here before, you know that, but I have figured that casting on 60 stitches is what works the best for me. And for this one, I did 15 rows for the cuff. I did 60 rows for the body. I did a afterthought heel, which on my next sock I'm not going to do that, but the next one I'm going to try to do the forethought heel. And then I did 60 rows for the foot also, and did the toe exactly like she says to do on her book for the pattern for the color blocked ribbed socks. The next thing that I have been working on is my Soho Square. For my Soho Square, which is a pattern by Jackie Rose, I did the wrap, and I used a US 4 or 3.5 millimeter needles. I have used the linen quill is the main colors, and I use mine on kettle black, and the oatmeal gray is going to be the second color that you don't see in there yet. And I also mixed in Lamb and Kid Trio in the color Suns Up, And this one is, both of those were leftovers that I had, and this one here is the fool's gold from ritual dies. I am loving, even though this is a very, very high contrast, which is usually not something that I like so much, but I'm really loving. I don't have anything with black, that is not very much, at least, that is needed by me. I have one shawl, so I really like having this because I think it's going to be very pretty to be able to also use both sides with the two different colors, but the same contrasting colors on it. Another thing that I actually made and I finished on the last day in January, but I don't think I showed you, was this simple knit hood by Leah, I believe it's Licky. I made this hood for my daughter. A lot of people are making hoods, and I'll be honest, I am not too sure how well it fits me, so I don't know if I'll be making one for myself, but this was a pretty nice knit, not very easy to start for me, but I really enjoyed making it after the very beginning of it. This was, I used a size 5mm needle to work on it, and I achieved actually the gauge that it was 16 stitches by 22 rows for 10 centimeters or 4 inches. And I used the premium yarn knit and crochet superwash wool luxe, and I used it in the color I believe it's a color gray, Moonbeam. It's a gray color, and I mixed this with a Suri alpaca that I had from Blue Sky Fibers on the, it's a white color, and I really enjoyed making it.
are on to my favorite project for the month of February that I started on February 2nd and I finished it on February 24th. So it took me 22 days to finish this project, and that is the Hello Friend vest by Leslie Friend. This is not completely finished because I did finish it on the 24th, and then I felt I did not like how the neck and the sleeves finishing ended up, and I undid, and now I am doing it again. But I consider it finished but not blocked, and I'm going to show you without having this the finishing on the sleeves done, because I did not like how it turned out, as I said, and I started again. I mistakenly did this when I did the ribbing. I did not pay attention to her instructions, and I thought I was paying attention, and I did a 1x1 rib, and then what I did is I did the 2x2 here, and then later noticed that I had done the 1x1 here, and I did not want to have to undo this, so I undid the neck band and the arm, and I am doing it again. So I have already done it again on the neck with a 1x1, and I did a half twisted 1x1 rib, and I really like this finish also. So I did a modification on this, but not intentionally. I think that when I was doing the rib, I was watching a movie with my husband, and I did not pay attention and finish that. The other thing that I made on this was I want to wear my vest for next weekend. There's going to be the yearly Rose City yarn crawl here in Portland, Oregon, and I wanted to wear this for the Rose City yarn crawl, and I decided that since I'm going to the yarn crawl, that it was appropriate to have a little sheep placed, and I'm going to show you a little footage of how I did this. I simply grabbed a darker color yarn and ended up being dark gray, and I just had leftover yarn in this color, and I double stitched this design. So the sheep design was inspired by a sweater that I saw in a podcast that I was watching, and I'm so sorry I cannot remember who it was right now. I will try to write down here if I can find. The sweater is the Diana Black Sheep Sweater, and it's by Sally Murray and Joanna Osborne. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right, but I love that sweater, but it seemed like a lot of work for me to do the whole sweater. So I had the idea on the pattern, and the pattern is a free pattern on Ravelry. So on the pattern, she gives the chart to how she knitted this, and I felt that it would be too much work to do the intarsia. So I just, after my vest was done, I just decided to double stitch that in there, or double knit, and this is how it turned out, and I am so super excited to wear this and so happy. I made this size 2, I believe, or size 3 for myself, and I achieved the gauge, which is 21 stitches, and I believe I also achieved 28 rows for 4 inches. I used only number 1 on the color Volga and a size 5, US 5, or a 3.75 millimeters to make mine. So, and I will put in there, I'm about, I used to be 5'7", now I'm about 5'6". As I grow older, it seems like I'm getting shorter, but, and I weigh about, I would say 125, 126 pounds. So that size was a perfect size for me. I hope it doesn't grow too much, but if it grows a little bit on this size, because on the length, it would be okay. I did not want to make much longer than what it was recommended because, and I actually made this a little bit shorter than what Leslie recommended because I was getting a little bit worried to not have enough to finish the sleeves and the neck. But I did have a little bit left over. I will put how many grams and all the information on my Ravelry, but this was a fabulous, fabulous knit, as it is all of Leslie's patterns. And as you all know, I'm a fan of her, and she's just fabulous. So this is something that I'm going to be knitting again. And if you want to make one of this, you can just check some of the videos that I did. In February, I also made, well, I actually made several of these in December, and a lot of my family members and friends who I gave some for Christmas with either a little pan or with some dish soap, really loved it. So I decided, and my last video was a tutorial if you want to get more information or how to learn how to make one for yourself. These are my very favorite dish scrubbies, and I think that it's some of my friends and family members also, because they keep asking me to make more. So I made a little tutorial, and you can go, and it has the recipe on how I make them. I hope that it's something fun if you want to watch. I will link this in the end of this video for you. Now, the things that I'm working on, so my whips, the work in progress. Summerlee released a new pattern, the Comfort Core socks, and I absolutely love that idea that she had, which was she decided to, she loves sport socks for walking, which are my favorite also, and she decided to do a pattern that mimics those socks. And as soon as I watched her video about that, I bought the pattern and I'm trying it, and I am very, very happy with the results so far. I am following the pattern to the T, and I am not 100% sure which yarn this is. I have a feeling that is knitted with, and it's called Pink Flavor, and it's 75% superwash, 25% nylon, and there's 46 yards on this mini. And that is what I'm going to use for the detail on the calf that she suggests for you to do, and then I'm going to do just the toe. I'm going to make the whole sock one color, and I'm making the sock. This yarn I have had for many, many years, and it's the Ritual Dyes Maiden, and the color is Star, and I have had it for a long time, and it's 80% merino and 20% nylon, and there's this is 100 gram skein, and I'm very, very happy with this. This is going to be my green for March, St. Patrick's Day, but also a little bit of spring, since it's starting to be so beautiful and sunny outside. February, I also started a scarf. My husband had asked me and said he wanted a small scarf like my Sophie scarf, and but he wanted a little bit wider and longer here. And I made my first experiment, and I wanted to do it in crochet because I wanted to experiment with a couple sizes for him, and I crochet a lot faster than I knit. So I try my first experiment, and I'm actually doing a small tutorial because I had not followed a pattern, even though after I did my experiment, I found that there are a couple patterns out there and a couple videos also, but I did make a tutorial, so I'll be putting this on here on this channel soon in case you want to make one of these also. I will show a few pictures. I did make this and it ended up being for my grandson because it's not long enough for my husband, but I did have and use the premium knit and crochet essential wool, which is 100% superwash merino fine wool. But I only had 2, and I used the color pale gray, but I only had 2 balls of this yarn, and since crochet uses a lot more yarn than knitting, I wasn't able to do as long as he wanted, but it looks perfect on my grandson, as you can see on my pictures. In February for myself is an Oslo hat, and I making it for myself in the color red, and I have lost the yarn, how you call it, yarn chicken. I played the yarn chicken game and I lost it, so I am going to be undoing this hat because I made a mistake. I have tried to make I have made this hat 3 times now, and every time I make a mistake on when you're supposed to do this change here, and this didn't look very good. So what I'm planning to do, first let me tell you, this is the Oslo Hat by Petite Knit, and I'm knitting for myself. And I did the size 6, the adult medium, and I'm using the Fiber Hustle DK in the color Little Red Corvette. And I am pretty happy on the texture and how the yarn is with this pattern. And because I lost the yarn game, the yarn chicken game, the chicken yarn game or the yarn chicken game, okay, you get it. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to undo all the way back here. I think I'm going to make the brim half the size because I don't mind if it's a smaller brim, and then I'm going to knit it again. I know it kind of feels to me, I thought I almost had my hat done, but I really want to have a red hat also, so I think it's worth it. And I don't want to buy another ball just to finish. I would have to have 1 more inch and the finish the decrease. I try to do what Tash from Mostly Knitting, she recommends how you could weigh the yarn so you don't you can know that you have enough yarn to do the ends. But I didn't even get to 5 inches. I only had 5 inches before I would have to start the decreases, and I just don't have enough. It's not going to work. So I really want to have a red hat, so I'm going to modify a little bit, make the brim a little shorter, and then I think I would be able to finish it. So this is going to be a finished object for next month then. The other thing that I started this month is I have been wanting to make a crochet blanket, and I keep getting, there are so many blankets that I want to make. I still want to make also a couple cushions for my house. Thought for me and my life and the kind of things that I have to do and that I'm doing this year, it would work perfectly to try to do a scrappy blanket. I have started a couple, and then I don't like as much. I'm a very intentional and organized person, like I said before. And one of the things that is hard for me is to just pick a color from my basket and just put that color there. But I thought that this would be a really good exercise for me to try to be more spontaneous and try to really just go with the flow with some things. And as I watch Sarah from It's a Sarah podcast, and she always says when she doesn't do something that she thinks is not as perfect, that her Miss Perfect, it's interfering or saying something. So I think my Miss Perfect has always interfered with me being able to make a blanket that just, the colors just, I just pick something and that's it. With this blanket, I actually started by planning 5 colors in advance to see if I could do it this way instead of having the whole blanket planned, because since it is a scrappy blanket, so I'm doing it all with scraps, with leftover yarn. But I started planning, and I have to say that my very first 5 here are, I planned the colors and put all the colors in order, and I picked up those 5 colors. What I'm trying to do is, this was just, I just chained 200 stitches, and then I started doing the linen stitch here, and I'm just picking up. I have a yarn that I'm using, and I'm using in 3 colors, this color, and this color, and I'm going to put 1 row of these 3 colors every 5 rows. But what I did is, after these 5 rows, when I put this one here, I then started to just pick up the color when I'm there and when I'm doing this. So I will show you a little bit of how my process and what I am doing and how I'm doing this blanket. But I think that this is going to be, and I'll be showing this sporadically when it grows a little bit. I've been trying to do 1 or 2 rows a day, but if we go away and we're traveling or something, I'm not going to bring it, because my basket, I have a lot of yarn on my basket of leftovers, and I'm planning to use it all here, and we will see how it turns out. And if I am able to be as spontaneous as I'm hoping I will be. So I think that's what I worked on and what I did in February that I finished and that I'm working on in February. I have a lot of plans for February, for March. I've been trying to, even though I did make a plan in the beginning of the year, and I have a video that tells you what I'm hoping to do in 2025. If you want to go watch that one, I can also put it in the end of this video, a link so you can watch that. But in general, this is what I think works best for me, is to every month I try to make a plan and put my plan, as I said, on my journal, and then I keep going from there. In March, I have signed up to do a test knit for Beth McDonald Stones. She has a beautiful, beautiful sweater that it's her new, it's going to be coming up sometime, I believe in May, and I'm so very excited, and I'll be talking a lot more about that in my March video. I am also going to continue to knit my socks. I want to start a new Sophie's shawl, because those are the ones that I have one that I kept for myself, and I find myself wearing that more than anything of my other shawls, any of my other shawls, and anything else that I have. So I am planning to knit another one, and I want to start a muscle burl hat that I have been planning for a very, very long time. Now on with what we have been, what I have been doing also this month. I will show you that I have been working on doing some sewing, and I made and I learned and made some rope baskets. I'm very excited about that. It turned out very cute, so I'll be making some more. My cousin that I have mentioned several times, from Paula, from Crafting with Paula, she has a video tutorial and it was very, very helpful, and I loved it, and it really helped me to be able to make and understand better how to make those baskets. But now, I tried to make sourdough bread, and even though I love it, I had a hard time keeping my starter alive. Sometimes we travel and we travel for a whole week, and it's really hard for me to have the starter after dormant to make a good bread that grows and that it's nice and fluffy inside. So I started making long fermentation bread, and there are millions, lots of videos on YouTube. I use a Brazilian recipe because it really works really well for me, and I love it. I love it because I don't need to have a starter, but also because I know after researching that it also gives a lot of the same health benefits that a long fermentation bread will. So that's another thing I've been doing a lot this month. For my birthday, I got a Kindle from my kids, so I have been reading, but I'm also still reading the knitting bag of tricks that I mentioned on last video. And the books that I'm reading right now, if you are interested in knowing, are, I will tell you in just a second. I am reading the Knit the Season by Kate Jacobs. I really like to read books that are just light and that has something to do with knitting. It's very fun for me and relaxing. I'm also reading The Covenant of Water by Abram Verghese, and I haven't been able to get really into this book yet, but I have heard that it's a really good one, so I'll keep trying. And I think that's it for me. I have had nice February. We have had a huge variety of weather here, and also we go to Central Oregon sometimes, and it's been really snowing and a lot of snow there. We've had snow here also, and I showed you some footage of how much snow we got. And then we had now we have spring-like weather, so it's been fun, and it's actually not been really harsh February, so I have been enjoying the month, and continue to do a lot of fun things, and I hope that you are also, wherever you are. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like, leave a comment, let me know what you've been doing in February, or subscribe if you haven't yet. That would really help me to keep bringing content to you. And until I see you again, I hope that you keep knitting, crocheting, crafting, doing what makes you happy. And stay healthy, and I hope to see you soon. Ciao!